Within the course of his life, Mendeecees Harris, a notable personality from the reality television show Love and Hip Hop, New York, has encountered a variety of obstacles, the majority of which have been brought to the attention of the general public. When he was forced to make a difficult choice that put him at odds with his family, it was indeed one of the most acrimonious periods in his life. In this particular incident, it was stated that Mendeecees kicked his mother, Judy Harris, out of his home after she hit his wife, Yandy Smith Harris. This event not only upset the Harris family, but it also rocked the fans of the show who was following their every move closely. A narrative that speaks eloquently about the complicated relationships that exist between members of a family, the hazy boundaries that exist between personal loyalty and respect, and the profound emotional hardships that come with negotiating such challenges, is the one in which Mendeecees kicks his mother out of his house. An accumulation of feelings, misunderstandings, and unresolved tensions that rose to the surface in a very public manner is what this event is about. It is not simply about a particular quarrel that has arisen. An understanding of the dynamics that exist between Mendeecees, his mother Yandy, and their extended family, as well as the relevance of the decisions that they took, is vital for the investigation of this tragedy. A look at the relationship that exists between Mendeecees and his mother. In order to get a complete understanding of the significance of Mendeecees' choice to remove his mother from his home, it is essential to take into consideration the nature of his connection with her. In her own right, Judy Harris is a well-known celebrity, and she is also the mother of Mendeecees. It is well known that she is a fiercely protective mother to her son, and she is known for being outspoken and frequently unfiltered. Her activities on Love and Hip Hop, on the other hand, frequently shine a light on her relationship with Mendeecees and Yandy, who is his wife. Judy's actions have been a cause of contention within the family environment for a number of years. Although Mendeecees has a deep affection and respect for his mother, he also places a high importance on his commitment to Yandy, the woman he married, and with whom he began a growing family. Because of the conflict of interest that existed between his mother and his wife, a breach developed between them, which was frequently obvious to viewers of the reality show. In spite of Mendeecees' best efforts to keep the peace, there were multiple instances in which his mother's actions, notably her domineering character and caustic statements, created friction on multiple occasions within the household. In an effort to keep both his mother and his wife happy, while also preserving the harmony within his family, Mendeecees had always maintained a delicate balance between the two important ladies in his life. By the time Judy smacked Yandy during a heated argument, the situation had reached a point where it was about to explode. Taking into consideration the underlying feelings that were involved in that altercation is absolutely necessary in order to get a complete understanding of Mendeecees' action. The disagreement that exists between Judy and Yandy. Judy and Yandy have had a relationship that has always been fraught with difficulties. Despite the fact that they made an effort to keep a friendly relationship, there was an underlying tension that never completely subsided or disappeared. In addition to her outspoken and occasionally confrontational conduct, Judy's intervention in Mendeecees and Yandy's marriage frequently resulted in disagreements between the two of them. There were times when Mendeecees' mother resisted Yandy's attempts to establish herself, and Judy did not always agree with the decisions that Yandy made. There were also times when Judy did not always understand Yandy's choices. The iconic slap occurred during one of these heated points in the conversation. The outburst came from Judy, who was under the impression that Yandy was showing her disrespect or not expressing sufficient thanks or acknowledgement. An extremely public and personal act, the slap brought to light the deeply ingrained problems that existed inside the dynamic of their family together. Many people were taken aback by Judy's rash reaction to what they saw to be Yandy's rudeness, but it also served as a cause of the dramatic upheaval that ensued. It is easy to understand why Yandy felt distressed and enraged. A physical act of anger, the slap was also a representation of the emotional toll that Judy's actions had placed on her. It was a physical act of intimidation. Despite the fact that Yandy had always put in a lot of effort to establish a family with Mendeecees, she consistently felt that his mother was undermining her attempts. There was a point in time when the burden of their problematic relationship became too great to avoid. The response of the Mendeecees, comparing loyalty to family. It was a really challenging situation for Mendeecees to be in after he found out about the altercation. He had always been quite open about his love and dedication to his mother, but he was also very clear about his commitment to his wife and the children they had together. As a result of the slap, Mendeecees came to the realization that the divide that existed between Yandy and his mother could no longer be left unaddressed. It was not an easy choice for him to make, but he ultimately decided to ask his mother to leave his house. The slap was an irrevocable breach of boundaries, despite the fact that Mendeecees had always attempted to act as a mediator between the two women in his life. This was no longer merely a disagreement inside the family. Rather, it was an act of contempt that posed a threat to the tranquility and consistency of Mendeecees' household. A difficult choice was made by Mendeecees when he decided to expel his mother from the house. Yandy, the lady he had chosen to marry and create a family with, and his mother, who had reared him and been a huge influence in his life, were the two people he had to choose between. Mendeecees needed to protect the woman he loved and his children from the kind of destructive behavior that may cause their family to fall apart. This was the most important thing for him to do. It was Mendeecees' intention to send a message about limits, respect, and the significance of prioritizing his personal family by evicting Judy from the house. A further indication of how far Mendeecees had progressed in his relationship with Yandy and how seriously he regarded his roles as a husband and parent was the decision that was made. The way he behaved gave the impression that he was willing to make challenging decisions in order to maintain the integrity of his marriage and family, even if doing so required him to tackle the challenging issues with his own mother. The consequences and instances of public reaction. The repercussions of this catastrophe were felt almost immediately and were rather severe. The dramatic intensity of the altercation left love and hip-hop viewers in a state of shock. Due to the fact that Judy believed that Mendeecees had deceived her, her response was one of bewilderment and wrath. The idea that her son would pick his wife above her was upsetting to her as a mother, especially considering all of the sacrifices that she had made for him in the preceding years. Judy's feelings were genuine, but as a result of her own pride and sense of entitlement, they were obscured somewhat. Throughout Mendeecees' life, she had always been a dominant presence, and the idea that her role would be diminished by a slap in the face, both literally and symbolically, was something that she could not readily accept. Yandy's fans, on the other side, stuck by her and praised Mendeecees for selecting his wife and children rather than any other option. The supporters of Yandy believed that Mendeecees had finally picked the right side of the war, and they viewed this as a moment of self-assertion that had been long overdue. The fact that Mendeecees was able to prioritize his own happiness and well-being over the requirements of others, including his mother, indicates that this was a key point in his development as a person. The response of the general population to the event was controversial. Other supporters felt that Mendeecees should have made more of an effort to reconcile the problems that existed between his mother and his wife, while others applauded the decision that Mendeecees made. On the other hand, it became abundantly evident that the circumstance appeared to be a great deal more convoluted than it actually was. What are the fundamental concerns regarding family and loyalty? In addition to being about a single isolated occurrence, the incident that occurred between Mendeecees, Judy, and Yandy was also about bigger concerns concerning the relationships of the family, loyalty, and respect. An indication of the challenge of balancing two powerful connections that are frequently in direct conflict, Mendeecees' decision to ask his mother to leave was a reflection of the difficulty of doing one. Many people find it challenging to negotiate the gap between the love and respect they have for their family members and the need to establish their own boundaries. Family loyalty is a tremendous force, and it can be challenging for many people to manage this area. There are a lot of people who can empathize with the difficulty that Mendeecees is going through, particularly when they find themselves in partnerships in which one side is always at odds with the other. Particularly in societies that place a high value on the importance of family bonds, the role that mothers play in the lives of their sons can at times be overwhelming. In spite of this, it is essential for individuals to acknowledge the significance of their own families, which includes their wives and children, as demonstrated by Mendeecees. To put it another way, Mendeecees' actions constituted a significant change in his life because he made the decision to put his wife and his personal family ahead of the conventional expectations that were placed on him as a son. The resolution, as well as the experiences acquired. Although it was a bold move on Mendeecees' part to request that his mother leave his house, this decision also served as a watershed moment in his relationship with both Judy and Yandy. Following the passage of time, there was a chance for healing and reconciliation to take place. The scars may take some time to heal, as is frequently the case with family disagreements, but it is possible to repair ties if one is patient and understanding. This event served as a lesson for Mendeecees on the importance of maintaining a balance between love, respect, and loyalty. In addition, It brought to light the significance of establishing boundaries and advocating for what is in the best interest of his immediate family, which is ultimately the family that he is constructing with that of Yandy. The event showcased the resilience that is necessary to make difficult choices for the sake of ensuring one's own happiness and mental well-being. It is possible that the drama that surrounded Mendeecees, Yandy, and Judy was a difficult period in their life. Nevertheless, it also served as a reminder of the complexity that are involved in the dynamics of a family. The key to reconciliation is frequently open communication, respect, and a willingness to make difficult choices for the greater good of everyone involved. Although members of the family may quarrel and clash with one another, the key to peace is often found in these three things.